Hello, this is National Chess Master Rats at chess.com to continue my video series on the correspondence team match between my video lessons group and the team CARPE DIEM. And this was played on board 157 out of 210. Our man is Lumper001 versus MrSeven. And ratings low 16 versus high 14s. And they split their match, so this is the one our man won. Before I actually show this, I'm just going to show a little bit about a different opening that that Black could have transposed had he been aware. Okay, it comes in the Chigorin defense, so the Queen's Gambit declined. Now, the main lines are Knight C3 or Knight F3 or C takes D5. Those are the main lines. But what do you do if Black plays E3? Well, Black has this move, E5. And nothing is forced, but just want to show an interesting possibility here. Pawn takes D4. Now if pawn takes, and he doesn't have to, but if takes. Now queen takes, and queen takes, knight takes. Suddenly, Black has some pressure here. If bishop D3, Black can force a weakness in the white position. Knight E2 fails to bishop takes, right? And then that undermines the C2 square. So here's the weakness forced in the white position. And Black has reasonable play for the pawn sacrificed. Okay, so let's do this. Let's wipe this. Get rid of that and bring in the actual game score. And what we have is the Alban counter gambit. And here we have the move E3. Just like, almost just like what I just showed you, except a different move order. Black could play Knight C6 here, and it's a perfectly good move. And it transposes right into what I just showed you. Okay? Now, it doesn't have to go the way I showed you. White does have the option to take here and go into the aforementioned C takes D5 variations of the Chigorin. But I don't necessarily like capturing here, and the reason is that, at least now, is it activates this bishop. Even though my line activated that bishop, Black got some active play for it. And this is definitely a very peculiar move. We have a symmetrical Queen's Gambit. I was actually playing one time. I was doing some work on C4, C5. I'm sorry, D4, D5, C4, C5. Trying to find some way to justify playing this as Black in order to throw my opponent off, but I couldn't find a satisfactory way to play it correctly. But it's in Blitz, it might throw him for a loop. The difference here is these pawns are missing. The E-pawns are missing. So White has the advantage of the first move. It would have behooved him to have done anything, develop a piece. But White plays one of these moves I've been talking about, these rook pawn moves. I mean, this is absolutely a horrible move. It doesn't do anything for White's game except weaken his king side and hand the position over to Black. Now Black gets to do what White could have done. And what was I saying White could have done? Develop a piece. So that's what Black does. Let's see where it goes. And keep in mind, White could have been playing bishop E3 and doing the same thing with colors reversed. So White develops a piece. Black develops a piece. White develops a piece. There's all of this tension in here. And to analyze all that would drive all of us nuts. But both sides decided not to liquidate it. But now Black decides it's time to get rid of it. And I don't agree with Black's next move. White, don't make exchanges that develop your opponent's pieces. Let him make exchanges that develop yours. Okay? You're developing the white queen. If White wants to develop his queen, let him to D4. Let White take on C6 and then place his queen on D4. So the simple thing to do here is develop something. Knight F6, Bishop C5, Bishop B4, anything but taking his knight on D4. Okay? Let's see where it goes. I'm getting a little hoarse. Okay, knight takes d4, queen takes. Now you've developed the black queen or the white queen. So here's the point of black strategy. He's going to win a pawn. Now white makes a mistake. White develops the black rook. I mean, you guys got to learn MrSeven. Okay, play something. Let him improve the position of your piece. Don't develop this black rook. It's sitting over there. Bishop e3. Okay? Now, let the rook get there on its own. See, your black's ahead of pawn, but white's ahead in development. If he wants to play rook d8, guess what? You get to develop another piece. Look, he just castled. And, there's a good chance this pawn's going to fall here because black is lagging in development. Okay? If black plays knight f6, white may just rip that off and cripple the pawns. But there's other ways to play this. But h3 is the reason why black is down or white is down a pawn. He could have played bishop e3 instead and had this same position with colors reversed. See what I mean? Okay. So let's see. So instead of playing bishop e3, white plays queen takes d8, develops the black rook. Thank you very much, black says. And now he plays bishop e3, a tempo, but that's easy to cover. And I probably would have played b6, although this does maybe secure b5, trying to secure b5 later. But you've just weakened this b6 square. And curiously, white doesn't try to take advantage of it. Okay. So white develops a piece. Now, white castles. This is good. Now here, white moves a piece that's already moved in the opening. This is the time to keep working on the development. Let's work on this pawn on c4. Probably. And in the moment black tries to hold on to it, we'll try to bust it up. Okay? Open up some lines, bust it up, and try to liquidate all the queenside pawns and achieve an easy draw, because we've certainly had a misfire in this game. Okay? We're down a pawn trying to win it back. Why are we down a pawn? This is why right here, h3. And I've talked about the other videos about it. People are playing these moves to keep bishops and knights out of these knight 5 squares. They don't like them there. Well, black never had any intention of putting anything there. So basically white putted and said, I don't know what to do here. You figure it out. Well, why didn't you play black in both games? Okay. He moves a piece twice, but he gets a pin. Now here, if he's going to take, let him take on his own. Why not maybe... let's see. Let's just play b5. Why not try to improve the position of one of your pieces? Castle, even castle. Now h6 is just forcing him to take. I'm not sure if there's really a good move. Normally there is a good move other than wasting a tempo with h6. If he's going to take, let him take. That's been a busy bishop. He stopped here. And he came here. Let him take on his own if he really wants to double your pawns. How about this move? Put your rook here. Get ready to double rooks for down the line. I mean anything but h6. Okay, so he played h6. And interesting thing is the pieces are coming off the board. This pawn's actually getting stronger. And white returns the favor. Rook c1. Face the pawn. You want an open file to attack that pawn. Now the file's not open, and the white pawns are weak. Now, black immediately sees the opportunity to get the 7th rank, and black has a clear advantage now. There's nothing white can do about it. It's just mop up time. Look at that pawn on c3. Can white defend it? If he tries to stick a rook here, I think black can just play rook takes and bring the other rook to the 7th, or bring a rook to the 7th now. I mean, this looks terrific. Hello. Hello, bishop. That pretty much forces this, and now the bishop and the pawn are forked. So, there's basically no defense for white now. So, let's see, we're not in the right line. He played rook b4, and like I say, it's just mop-up time. Now, a nice pawn majority on the queen side, and there's nothing white can do. He's just doomed. Now, black's not advancing his pawns correctly. He's kind of immobilizing him, but it doesn't matter. He can win the pawn on a4 at his leisure. Now he takes it. And now white steps into I guess you could call it a pin. The rook's pinned against the other rook, or a hurdle, although they're of equal value, and there's no point in white playing on here. He's just going to lose the exchange, and those 3 connected pawns are going to roll right down the board. So both sides could have done better in this game. Very enterprising move, but h3, now that you've seen this game, you probably never get this position again, but bishop e3 is a move to make. Let's see. What if he takes? Okay, fine, let him take. And now he attacks your bishop. Okay, fine. Let him attack your bishop. I'm gonna grab this pawn. Well, maybe I'm not going to grab that pawn. I don't want to develop your queen. I've been talking about that. I'm going to play knight f3. Okay. Now you're going to go pin me. Well, I'm just going to break the pin. Okay, so you're going to pick up the bishop pair. Thank you for developing my queen. Black's running behind in development here. White's doing pretty well here. I don't want to take that pawn. I'm just going to play here. And white's got a nice development advantage here. And I'm just kind of making moves. I know there might have been better moves. There might have been blunders I was playing. But I'm illustrating a point. White's a tempo and a half ahead. Because it's white's move and white's queen's developed and black's isn't. So h3 just killed your game. Okay. Anyway, watch all the videos in this series. Everyone's going to learn a lot. You really are. That's why I make them. I'm here to help you. All right. Thanks so much for your time. Take care.